Hey there, future US registered nurses. Are you ready to crush the Nclex and kickstart your nursing career? Congratulations on reaching this milestone. I'm here to share with you the strategies that you will need to successfully navigate and conquer the Nclex journey. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Uche Ago, and in this channel I bring updates about nursing in different countries, immigration and fitness. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome, and if you're watching this, chances are that you're in the path of becoming a registered nurse in the USA and you're gearing up to tackle the Nclex exam. In today's video, I'll be telling you about how to study and pass your Nclex. I will break this down into steps: what to do before the exam, during the exam, and after the exam. If this topic interests you, please do well to hang on and let's dive into it. So like I said, we'll be taking it on steps, what to do before your exam. The first thing before your exam is to discover your learning style and develop it. Each of us learns in different ways. You probably understand what method works for you by now or what works effectively for you. You have to make adjustments to your study plan based on your study technique. Now, if you learn best by hearing educational videos, Nclex audio would be your way to go for you. Also, know your prime time. Your prime time here is the study time that works best for you. It can be in the morning, it can be during the day, it can be midnight. Whatever prime time that works for you, you have to stick to it. If your prime time does not suit your current lifestyle, for example, if you're a mom, if you have family, you have work, you're trying to strike a balance, you may need to readjust your prime time, probably when the children are asleep, or probably when you're on your days off. The next point I've written down is to know your Nclex content. I would like to liken the Nclex content to the foundation of a house. There's this saying that if the foundation of the house is not strong, then those that build the house build it in vain. If you liken it to the Nclex content, if your knowledge about the Nclex is poor, if your knowledge about the Nclex content is poor, then it will definitely affect the performance or your overall performance and feedback. It is important for you to know the subjects and topics that will be on the test so that you can study appropriately. For example, the next generation Nclex tests the candidates to critically think. It tests them on their judgment, it tests them on their decision-making skills and their ability to make sound clinical decisions in the real-world situation. They involve concepts such as delegation, collaboration, and patient safety. You need to build your content first before you jump into question banks. Now, if you dive into question banks, that is not a good foundation for you, just like we have likened the Nclex to the foundation of a house. You need to build your foundation appropriately. Now, remember that if you're trained in Nigeria, you know that you will definitely have foundation of nursing. That foundation of nursing is to build your content on your professional exam in the future. So take the Nclex to build your content first before you dive into question banks. Now, recommended textbooks to build your content is Saunders. Best bet is to use the latest edition because that is where they would have topped up to the next generation Nclex requirements or expectation, and they always update it. So best bet is to use the latest edition. Now, if you're using the Saunders to study, I like to tell people who ask me, how do they study for the Nclex? And I say, build your content. I like to say, take Saunders textbook chapter by chapter. Take it system by system. Go through the subjects, go through the topics, and every aspect and element that is required of you for this professional examination. If you take it chapter by chapter, there are questions at the end of each chapter that you can answer. Now, when you have answered this, it tests your knowledge on what you have read in that chapter. If you are someone who likes to jot, I like to jot because I remember my notes better. If you like to jot, you can jot down important things, important points for you to study again. Another textbook I would like to recommend is Illustrated Guide. Illustrated Guide for me is a simplified version of Saunders or simplified version for Nclex preparation generally. The next point would be to make a study plan. A study plan is simply like a calendar that helps you know when to study and what to study. If you're like me who struggles between work, family, life balance, a study plan will help you to stay organized. You can find a test plan on NCSBN website. I would also add that in the description. NCSBN is the National Council of the State Board of Nursing. Using this test plan, you can assign a certain amount of time to each section. If you're using Saunders as a new textbook, inside Saunders, you will find a QR code for you to scratch off, scan and register for free materials or a free study guide or plan. Your total study time is a few hours a day for several weeks, but how much time you spend depends when your exam is about to come. When using practice questions, it is best to read the rationale on the same day as answering the questions. The rationale is like a short paragraph explaining why the correct answer is the best answer. Nclex utilizes a computer adaptive testing method. A computer adaptive testing is a form of test that gives you a question based on your previous answer. So it gives you your next question based on the level you have answered. So if it has given you the first two questions and you have answered these questions correctly, your third question will be a little bit higher in the area of difficulty. But if you have missed answering those questions, your next question will step down. So computer adaptive testing gives you the next test according to the level at which you have answered the current question. Next thing is to focus on your area of weaknesses. Focusing on your area of weaknesses does not mean you will let go of the areas that are your strengths, but focusing on the areas of your weaknesses helps you become more confident for the exam. If you neglect the area of your weaknesses, how about if your area of weaknesses is what the computer adaptive test gives you? What would you do in that exam? How do you focus on the area of your weaknesses? Focusing on your area of weaknesses is by reading those areas that you find it difficult. If you're a visual person like me, I would like to say that for me, the area of my weaknesses, what helped me was going on YouTube to Simple Nursing or going on Registered RN YouTube page to watch their channels. Nursing brings visual demonstration of what the Nclex is about. It gives visual representation and helps you remember. So if it's giving you a difference between hyper and hypo, it's going to give you like a visual image to describe that and gives you like mnemonics for you to remember Nclex questions. So feel free to check them out as well. Next point will be to familiarize yourself with the question types. Familiarizing yourself with Nclex question types will help you prepare appropriately for the exam and will make you even more confident to prepare for the exam. The Nclex question types are, but not limited to, multiple choice. In the multiple choice, you are expected to choose one best correct choice from that. You also have the multiple response, and this requires you to select all the correct responses. You have the charts and graphs, you have drug calculation, you have psychiatry, you have ops and gynae, you have ordered response. In the ordered response, all the options are correct, but you need to arrange it in the order of the appropriate answer. Also, when reading for the Nclex, remember your nursing process. I know that the nursing process, while in school, we called it assessment, diagnosis, implementation, action, and evaluation, ADPI. So the nursing process has 5 areas. It's assess the patient needs, develop a nursing diagnosis based on this patient needs, develop a plan of care for the patient and the family, implement this plan of care, and evaluate the plan of care you have done for the patient and see if this works. Also, another area that you need to know is the Maslow hierarchy. These are like the tips for you to use when answering questions. The Maslow hierarchy helps you prioritize the patient's care in each question. Remember that in the hierarchy of needs, you need to address the basic needs before you move on to the higher needs. For example, physiological needs must be met before you address the need for safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem and self-actualization needs. Additionally, the Nclex also tests your ability to prioritize patient needs and delegate patient needs. I use the textbook Prioritization and Delegation, and I ensure to answer all the questions there and reading the rationales. So the Prioritization and Delegation textbook has different chapters based on ops and gynae, mental health, respiratory system, cardiovascular. It just takes those subjects or topics that are required for you and gives you questions around them. Do well to check out this textbook or online or physical copy and answer all the questions. Remember your environment. Your environment can make or mar your preparation for the Nclex. Some people prefer to read regardless of whether quiet or noisy environments. But if you're someone who a quiet environment work out for, then please look for somewhere that is quiet to read. It can be a library around your area. When I was in Nigeria, I used to use the National Library. And even when I came to the UK, I still spotted the library close to me and I used the library. If you're someone who has the family, you may require to wake up when the children are asleep to study or when they're at school to study. You need to just make your plan according to your lifestyle. What works for A will probably not work for you. So check around you and see which style is going to work for you and then work on it. Remember to rest on the day before your exam. If it's one day before your exam, remember that you have worked so hard months before the final day before your exam. Try and rest as much as possible. Rest, limit too much reading. You probably want to revise but not reading something new. And then eat healthy meal, get quality sleep, and arrange your documents for your exam. Now, talking about the day of the exam. On the day of the exam, please take your photo ID, which can be your international passport. Check the weather, wear warm clothing. Most likely the exam hall is going to be cold, so you may want to wear layers of clothing. And also, if you're someone who wears fashion glasses, if they're not medicated, they will be checked on the day of the exam. For me, I have problem with looking at screen for a very long time. It gives me headache. So I have glasses that are not medicated, but they were done for the purpose of screen. So that was done in an optical clinic. On the day of your exam also, please exhale. Cast your cares on God. Cast your cares on wherever you pray and find solace in. Be early to your exam. That helps you stay calm and helps you mentally prepared for your exam. Remember that each computerized exam is different for everybody. If you have passed 75 questions on the day of your exam, do not be dismayed and do not give up. The first time I wrote the Nclex, when I'd passed 75 questions, I was worried. I felt like I had failed the exam. And just by thinking that way, it impacted the rest of the examination for me. So I'm here telling you from personal experience, if you exceed 75 questions, keep your faith high, keep your hope high, keep believing and keep going, because it doesn't mean failure. It means the computer is still trying to test your knowledge based on the exam. So keep going at it. Remember, you have a maximum of 6 hours to answer these questions and review your answers. Take your time answering the questions, but do not overthink these questions. Pick your answer and move on. Finally, I'll be talking about after finishing the exam. Now that you have finished the Nclex exam, congratulations, congratulations. All you have to do not overthink it. Keep your hope high, keep your faith high, keep believing, stay positive, take care of yourself, self-care, get enough sleep, focus on the best, and wait for your test report to come out. However, some people do pop-up tricks. You can do a pop-up trick if you're too anxious. And I wish you all the best and congratulations on your nursing career and becoming a United States registered nurse. And if this video was of great help to you, come on guys, you need to support me. Please hit the subscribe and the like button, comment and share. Feel free to ask any questions and I'll do well to respond to every one of you. See you in my next video.